All right, we good? All right, first I just want to tell everybody how much of a pleasure it is to be here before you today. But since I have limited time, I'm gonna leave it at that and get into what I came here to talk about. What I've been here to ask to speak about is some of the momentous actions, coalition building, and manifestations of people's power that have come to fruition in the city of Charlotte, North Carolina, over the past year. We the people have made tremendous strides in mounting strong defenses and raising potent opposition to some of the gravest, most oppressive, and despicably destructive forces we have faced. Whether it's been the neo-Nazis and KKK descending on our city to promote discrimination, violence, and hate, or the corporate criminals who called Charlotte, Wall Street of the South home, known as Bank of America, when they held their annual stakeholders meeting, or the pro-1% anti-democratic mechanism for corporate control and corporate power over legislation known as ALEC, or the American Legislative Exchange Council when they held their spring summit, or the largest power company we call Dirty Duke Energy, as they try to price gouge the people once again, those who are already teetering on the edge of their own fiscal cliffs, with further proposed rate hikes and to further their profit margin and also to continue to exploit dirty energy. Whether it's been the homophobic and hateful state legislation with Amendment 1, battling oppressive, abusive infringements on civil liberties by the City Council with targeted anti-Occupy ordinances, standing with city workers as they fight for their rights and dignity with calling for a basic Bill of Workers' Rights, standing with our undocumented and immigrant brothers and sisters who fight for dignity daily, facing depraved, inhumane discrimination, or when one of the corporate political duopolies descended on our city for their national conference for the DNC. We were there. Each and every time the people were threatened most, we were there. We have neither faltered nor wavered in the face of these powerful forces. In fact, we have accomplished things that just a year ago would have seemed all but impossible. Through the fostering of great bonds, love, and through struggle, we have stood strong with solidarity and won great victories. I could go into further depth on each and any one of these powerful struggles and the progress that we've made, but I'd like to spend, since I only have a few minutes, take this over to another topic. And I'm not gonna be as eloquent as my brother Larry Holmes over there, or as in depth as the Goldstein's book, Capitalism is at a Dead End. But that's kind of what I've taken out of this year, and what the important lesson that I've learned being in the struggle in Charlotte over this last year is that capitalism is in a great crisis. Capitalism is collapsing upon itself. And when I say that, I don't mean North American capitalism. I don't mean American capitalism itself. I don't mean European capitalism. I mean the entire system is faltering and collapsing upon itself. The system is in severe crisis, and the capitalist crisis is real. And this is not just the bursting of an economic bubble or the annihilation of markets, but full-blown crisis. The inevitable annihilation of a violent, self-destructive system. And the implications and the unavoidable outcomes and consequences are the lessons that we need to heed as we move forward. Not only in Charlotte, North Carolina, or here in New York City, but across the nation and planet, anywhere people stand. As the evidence and the signs are everywhere, with continued deep recession, sustained sky-high and permanent unemployment and underemployment, rising poverty, crumbling infrastructure and social services, attack on workers, permanent wars, bankrupt cities, counties, and states, and governments, the impending fiscal cliff they talk about, the possibility of sequestration, the continuation of QE3, quantitative easing, just a game they play to try to further along their goal. Should make people everywhere, oppress people everywhere uneasy. Just as we have seen in Europe, it's coming here. It's coming to our very own backyard. All we need to do is look across the pond to Greece, Spain, Portugal, France, and on and on. We need only to look across and see what has been transpiring in the past years, months, and even days. As we see just this week, millions have taken to the streets. Millions have united in protests, strikes, and general strikes, unified in numbers and scope that have never been seen before, as the entirety of the system is in crisis. That's what we need to be preparing for. That is a lesson that we need to take in, the great lesson, that we need to get prepared as the same austerity is coming here. The same broken reasoning The same dangerous policies, policies and practices that haven't worked over there are on their way here. In fact, they're discussing going over them right now. The same ignorant, broken logic that says in order to fix this crisis that they've created, that they must take more and more from the people. The people who are already on the brink of disastrous catastrophe, that it is their insatiable self-indulgence and the toxic greed that's embedded within the system and the violence of the free market system that has bound them not to fix this, but to continually perpetuate this downward spiral. And so since I only have 1 minute left, I'm just gonna say that I think the important thing and what we're doing in Charlotte is taking the lessons that we've learned and we're moving that into what's called the People's Power Assembly. Because the only thing that we have is we need to look back on what's worked in the past, and that's a reinvigoration of people's power. It's those workers' rights. It's those basic human dignities that are deserving of all people, all human beings. And it's the only way to get that is to stand together, to unite, and to say that we will not falter. We will stand strong. We will see our way through, and we will be the change by creating the change that we need to see. And so I hope that not only in Charlotte, New York, Chicago, Detroit, LA, but everywhere across this land that there is a reinvigoration of people's power, for that is our only way of survival. Thank you.